since I live in Kenya and my child is going to grow up in Kenya, I feel like I'm lucky that he's going to be free to say whatever he wants. He's going to be free to stand up for himself. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Hadija. Please remember to subscribe as you watch. I have a lot of things to talk about on this channel. First thing I want to talk about is I saw a lot of comments saying Ugandans are very humble, and I would like to talk about that using my experience in Uganda and comparing it with the experience in Nairobi and other parts of Kenya. Yes, I've been to other parts of Kenya. I've been to Kisii, I've been to Mombasa, I've been to Kericho. I've been to different places in Kenya. No one is born humble. It's taught. To me personally, I feel like sometimes it's traumatizing, but I'm going to explain it and you come up with your decision whether it's traumatizing or it's just how we're supposed to treat our children. Kenyans don't gossip. Children do not receive enough criticism. I won't even say enough. They don't receive criticism at all. That's why you find them having freedom of speech. They can say anything, they can do anything they want. So sometimes people perceive it as being rude. And what made me actually believe that there is no criticism or gossip in Kenya. Remember, I've lived in this country for a long time. So I was in a saloon last year. After so many years of being in Nairobi, and I've never had gossip, I've never had criticism. And I heard this lady talk about a child. They were plating the child's hair. I think the child is South Sudanese. And she was like, oh, this child is too dark, even in the head. And they were laughing and talking about it in Swahili. So I felt the need to talk about it because it was not right. Because now I've lived in Kenya for a long time. And then the lady asked me, hey, you have a Ugandan accent. Are you from Uganda? And I was like, yes. She was like, yeah, I'm also from Uganda. In all the years I've lived in Nairobi, the only person that gossiped about anyone was actually a Ugandan. So that's sealed the deal for me. So if you grow up with such kind of criticism, and especially when you're a teenager, people criticize a lot the way you walk. They always say, they used to tell us was, oh, the world will humble you. If you don't humble yourself, the world will humble you. Oh, the way she moves, the way she walks like she owns the world. She needs to humble herself before the world humbles her. So you always have to shrink yourself for other people's pleasure. I was scolded for being loud, for talking fast, for sitting any kind of way, which is not in Kenya. Kenya, everyone sits the way they want. If someone wants the leg to be this side and the other leg to be the other side, it's okay. In Uganda, you're supposed to look like you're humble all the time. Because any kind of confidence, people will start giving you names. I remember I had a friend. People will come up to me and say, why do you walk around with that girl with me? They used to call her an unruly whore. Just because she used to be confident. She used to dress the way she wants. She used to do the things that she wants. If she wants to go to a place and have fun, she would go. She wouldn't shrink herself for anyone. So people hated her around the place until I got to know who she was and realized she was actually a nice person who was just living life. In Kenya, people are free to do whatever they want, to say anything they want, because they will never receive criticism. And for that, I feel like it shapes a child into being able to fight for themselves, not shrinking themselves for the world. Whereas in Uganda, the moment you step foot on this earth, people will talk about the child's nose. Yeah, when you're bathing the child, you use herbs to bathe children when they're still babies in the first 2 weeks. You have to bathe them with herbs. So someone will bring herbs to you and say, oh, press the nose, make sure it becomes smaller. So people will criticize even a young child. When I was 8 years, someone told my mom, oh, Oyajabera mlogo. She said I'll be a witch just because I complained about something I wasn't comfortable with. It made me look into myself, and I asked myself, am I a bad person? Do I need to change the way I treat people? Do I need to change my way of thinking? So from that day going onwards, I changed and became a people pleaser. I now live in Kenya. My son has friends. These kids just get into the house, just sit wherever they want and ask for the remote, and they tell me, hey, weka ingine, change the channel. In Uganda, any child to order an adult, do this for me, even if that's not your mother, you will get punished. And people feel the need to hurt kids just because they don't behave well. When I was in Kisii one time, I noticed the way children behave with their grandparents. When I saw this child going up and down, jumping on the grandparents, ordering them around, hey, this was my seat. I was supposed to sit here, and the grandparent just smiled and let it go. The Ugandan child in me was so angry. I felt the need to punish this kid. And then I realized it's just trauma of me knowing that as a child I wouldn't have gotten away with that. I would have been punished by anyone in that room. So I told myself maybe it's time to let go of that childhood trauma. Because, okay, I understand that they said the reason why they do that is because what if, God forbid, anything happens, emergencies happen, what if the child loses a parent and they have to live with other family members who don't have that patience, you know? They also have this thing of what if you grow up and get into the real world and you don't know how to behave. You just annoy one person and one person just ends your life. And the issue of not saying hi to people, in case you just passed by a group of people without saying hi, and then you go a few meters forward and something happens, you get an emergency or you get lost, are you going to come back to the same people you didn't say hi to and ask for help? And then for some reason I realized in Kenya people don't even care about that. People won't even help when you need help for security reasons, and I really do understand that. And one time I was watching a podcast and I saw a Kenyan lady, and she was talking like she owns the world. She was talking about I dropped out of school because they were telling me what to do. You don't tell me what to do. And she was saying the F word and these all big words, and everyone was so proud of that. And the Ugandan child in me was so angry. I was like, who does she think she is? Why would she think she could just come out here and talk like she owns the world? In my mind, I'm like, she has to wait, the world will humble her. And then one time I was scrolling through social media and I saw the same lady talking about something that was about relationships and how she does not give an F about this and that, and everyone was so supportive of that. I sat down and realized being angry at her for going away with it, it's just a trauma response from when I was a child in Uganda. You cannot talk like that. You cannot kuvemba around because the world will humble you. People will feel the need to hurt you. That's when I realized I need to just relax and just watch people who had healthy upbringing and just appreciate that and tell myself, since I live in Kenya and my child is going to grow up in Kenya, I feel like I'm lucky that he's going to be free to say whatever he wants. He's going to be free to stand up for himself. And another thing is, I receive messages in my inbox from Ugandan ladies living in Kenya. How it's not easy to get a job here as a Ugandan, but I know even Kenyans it's hard to get a job. It's not about you being Ugandan, so let me clear that up. There are some jobs that you can't get if you don't have someone you know in the company. Not just in Kenya, but even in Uganda and all other parts of the world. So it's not just because you're Ugandan. So I need to clear that up. Now please remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching.